Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. So this is the second episode of the weekly or bi-weekly Tesla recap. If you missed last week's one, it's going to be in the top right corner. So Tesla ended the week, actually quite a good week, up around 9 to 10% or so. So hey, can't complain there. Now in this video, we're going to talk a bit about the energy side of the business and just the energy industry as a whole. We're going to talk about the price reduction, some numbers there, some numbers in Europe as well, and then a couple of topics I want to touch on throughout this video that I think maybe not a lot of people have talked about before. So if you're interested in that, sit back and relax. Let's start up with something positive here. So Tesla is now in the top 10 most valuable brands in 2023, number 9 here, and it's up by around 28 spots. So some people are saying that Elon has hurt the brand. Well, if that was the case, probably it would not be ranking so high. Then first thing with regards to energy here comes from a tweet from Michael Thomas, and then we're going to go into an article. So a year ago, energy analysts predicted that 160 to 180 gigawatt of solar would be built in 2022. Well, guess what? They underestimated solar growth by 50 to 70%. 270 gigawatts of solar was built in 2022. And as you can see from these charts here, global solar PV installation will grow at an annual average of 8% from 2021 to 2030, with the biggest chunk here being Asia. But hey, for a business like Tesla who also deals with energy, this is pretty positive. We're not done yet. A tweet here from Matt Smith, great follow on Twitter. So the US grid interconnection requests for storage were up 100% in 2021 versus 2020 and roughly 10x the levels in 2019. And these figures right here, we're going to zoom in on that in just a bit, were before the Inflation Reduction Act made the economics so much better. So if we click on that, you can clearly see here the acceleration in solar. Then after solar becomes big, obviously storage, then wind, and as you can see with gas, it did go down a little bit there. Nuclear basically dead, which is a shame because it's pretty useful. But focusing here, solar and storage, Tesla has a big chance to take a large chunk of that. And last thing with regards to energy here, so a tweet from Gregor McDonald, US energy balance sheet update. Super trend continues. During the 8-year Obama term, the US increased supply from all sources by the largest amount in a half century. Pace continued during Trump administration and now Biden admin as well, not stopping. As you can see, quite a nice trend here. This is net imported energy as a percent of total US energy consumption. And you can see now it's in the negative. So now that we've got the energy part of the way, obviously do share your thoughts on Tesla's energy, maybe some projections. I know right now it's just speculation. We're all waiting for that report to see, maybe get some more details with regards to that segment. But as of now, just write down your comments in the comments below. Now, if you enjoy this type of videos, do hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you have not. I would really appreciate that. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to support me and this channel, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to flow.com/couchinvestor. So next up, let's talk a bit about the, reaction to the price cuts. So we're going straight into it here. Tesla's retail sales surged in China in January after it slashed prices for its top selling models earlier in the month. So as you can see here, average daily sales for Tesla in China during January 9th to January 15th period jumped 76% year over year to 12,654 vehicles. Now we can go and look at this, for example. This is Tesla China insurance data. So obviously we've had that week-ish period when we ended last year, begin this year with just 2,000 insured units. And then you can see this huge increase right here, over 500% increase in just 1 week. Now, of course, a lot of people were expecting this because, when you slash your prices by so much, this was bound to happen. Now, the big question is, will this continue? Will this trend continue now that the prices are down by a lot? Will people continue to buy Tesla vehicles? We're going to have a look at the inventory chart a bit later. There are some positives, but also, let's say, some negatives as well. Now, because Tesla slashed its prices, suddenly it enters new territory. Which one, you ask? So now that the prices for the Model Y long range and Model 3 rear-wheel drive, the prices there have been cut by a significant amount. For the Model Y long range, you go from a 4% of the US consumer to around 16%. So you basically 4x that addressable market. And for the Model 3 here, rear-wheel drive, you go from 10% to 25%, and that's a 2.5x, obviously. Now, if let's say they manage to make a 25,000 vehicle or so, then you suddenly are here at 60% of the US consumer. If it's 20, well, basically everyone. So right now, basically, even with the price cuts, yes, you are increasing your addressable market, but as you've just seen, it's still a very, very tiny market, all things considered. So the growth story here is still to come, especially with that Model 2, whenever that will be launching. I don't know. I predict an announcement this year. Hopefully, this means that production starts already next year, because if you announce it this year, but production is like the Cybertruck or the Tesla Semi or the Roadster only years and years out, I don't think that's a good plan at all. Now, circling back to the Model Y inventory level. So obviously, we've had that huge increase in inventory. We reached 1,309. This is for the Model Y inventory levels. Then after the price cuts, huge sell-off all the way to 295. Now, in the last couple of days, as you can see here, it has increased a little bit. Same thing can be said for the Model 3 if you want to check that out. We can see the same story happen here. Now, last time Tesla cut its prices, we can see that inventory levels were basically zero for a while. This time, it didn't go all the way to zero, and it actually increased quite fast. So, price cuts, yes, it did clearly help, as you can see, but the question remains, are people still inclined to buy vehicles right now? Inventory levels still, they might be on the rise right now, but they're still not that high. Higher than before, yes, but to be honest, inventory level of 315 is not the end of the world. But of course, I don't want to sound like someone that is just a Tesla bull and disregards everything else. This is something to keep an eye on, because let's say if inventories spike up again, well, maybe demand right now isn't that strong, not just for Tesla, but the overall auto market. Of course, also, you might look at the secondary market and see that some companies have slashed their prices there as well. So, I don't know, maybe some people just went to the secondary market, bought their cars there instead of buying them new. Could be. Then I want to touch on a little thing that happened in Germany. As always, some issues there. So Tesla Giga Berlin Works Council accuses IG Metall of serious violation. So there was the whole story there of IG Metall accusing Tesla of basically mistreating its employees, overusing them, etc., etc. So Tesla side basically reacted, and I do like the way that sometimes also in China Tesla reacts maybe a bit more aggressive, let's say, or direct. Should I use the word direct? Is maybe better than in the United States. So IG Metall has been interfering with Tesla and its employees ever since the manufacturer announced the construction of its factory in Germany and made it clear that it would not sign collective wage agreements. Obviously, this goes against everything IG Metall stands for, and Tesla's refusal to cooperate with IG Metall threatens the existence of the largest union in Europe, which is why it is so desperate to interfere in the relationship between the company and its employees. Makes sense. Going back to a more positive news, let's say we've had the first shipment of Tesla cars arrive in Thailand. So that's great news. I don't know exactly how many cars arrived there, but probably not thousands and thousands. A couple of hundreds of vehicles have arrived in Thailand already, after I believe the studio opened around a month or two ago. So that's quite a positive. And now I want to touch on a tweet by Moneyball here. So he wrote, Tesla made in China Model 3 modified version to significantly cut the current Model 3 cost. Model 3 price to reach between 100,000 and 200,000 price range, boosting China sales profit. Of course, not in dollars, but in Chinese currency. Now again, this seems extremely low. take it with a grain of salt, or I don't know how you say this these days, but I don't know, this is just one source. We've heard rumors about a Model 3 refresh, but to cut the cost so much to be able to offer it at this price right here, which I'll convert it, it will pop up on the screen, is pretty significant. I don't know if this will actually happen, because then again, you'll get very close to the price of a potential Model 2. Again, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, since Tesla has reduced the prices of its vehicles in China, in Europe, and in the United States, in Canada as well, we knew what was going to happen, right? Competitors were probably inclined to do the same. Now remember, competitors don't have the margins that Tesla have. So here is some proof. So today, Volkswagen and Audi announced a new 7,500 lease incentive on every electric vehicle and plug-in hybrid they sell in the United States, including the ID4, Q4 e-tron, Q5 e-Quattro, Audi e-tron SUV, and Audi e-tron GT. So let's see what happens. I know Kia probably is not going to follow this route. Kia, great company, make great cars. Same with Hyundai. Again, this is what's going to happen. If Tesla wants, they'll keep reducing the prices because the margins are so high. And probably in the next earnings report and call, they're still going to show us that margins are higher than expected. Now, last couple of things here. Tesla Semi demonstrated by PepsiCo at Modesto Frito-Lay plant. So nice little show there. I believe there is a video circling around where you see one of these Tesla Semis at the side of the road having some issues. So obviously Tesla Q has been raving about that, but hey, general rule, never buy the first iteration of a vehicle, of a product ever. Now, what is impressive is that PepsiCo says the tech upgrades at their Modesto plant have resulted in a 91% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions from direct fleet operations, and that just with a handful of Tesla semis and probably some Volvos as well. So quite an achievement. And last two things, of course, we have to talk about Hertz. So Hertz and Uber announced deployment of 25,000 Tesla and Polestars EVs in Europe. Again, Hertz have been killing it with, well, since they partnered up with Tesla and went the electric way. So great to hear about that. Not done with the Hertz news, by the way. Apparently, Hertz collaborates with Denver to expand its EV charging infrastructure called Hertz Electrified Program. Okay. Now, the automaker intends to add more than 5,000 EVs to its Denver fleet as part of the program. And Denver's mayor here, Michael Hancock, plans to reduce its carbon emissions by 80% by 2050. Now, according to Share, the company currently has roughly 40,000 Teslas and Polestars available for leasing. As of EVs from GM are added to the company's fleet, he anticipates that number to quadruple by year's end. Again, pretty impressive what Hertz has been doing recently. And so that's about it for everything that happened around Tesla. Probably some more news, but those were the highlights to me. Of course, next week, earnings, expect a lot of noise, a lot of news coming out before, after, in between the earnings report and the call. I'm probably not going to cover directly after the earnings. Some other great channels do a great job at that, but expect a video at the end of the week as always on Saturday. So for all of you that are still listening right now, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.